Welcome to another episode on the Retro Tech channel. I, of course, am your host. I am Dave, and today we're going to do a second video now, or the first video in this series, but the second video for the new channel on retro PCs. So I'm going out there and I'm picking up people's old PCs, finding what, no specs, no idea what I'm going to be getting. This one cost, the one we're looking at today, is about £20, and the idea is to find out whether or not do I get a decent bit of kit for my money, and can I do anything with this kit in the end? Ideally, what I'm looking for is old PCs that we can run either older operating systems, running slightly older hardware that we can potentially run some old XP CD based games in the long run. So this is what I picked up. This cost £20. So we have, I'm just going to be going through the case. I haven't opened it up, I've not run it, I haven't even tested it. It may not even work. We have an HP Pavilion. So great thing is I do have an optical drive, which is a really important part of this one. It has got USB 3s on the front, so it ain't that old. Card reader on the front, audio jacks, etc. On the back, we have fairly unremarkable I/O, but we have no graphics card. So unfortunately, no graphics card with this particular piece this time round. We have DVI, we have VGA. Did we get HDMI? No HDMI on this. So USB standards, 2s, Ethernet, and USB 3s on the back. That is it. Nothing too amazing to be had in here. But what we do need to do is we really need to open this up and we need to have a look inside and see what we got for our £20. So let's get the screwdriver and do that. Okay, so what we got here? So Intel cooler, bit of dust, but not actually that bad. I've seen worse. It's a fairly clean chassis inside. That probably, I'm going to guess, is an 8GB stick of RAM. 4 gigs, okay. Well, I have a spare 4 gigs knocking around, so we can at least increase the spec straight away with a stick of RAM. But we're going to run it as is. We have a hard drive on here. It is standard hard drive, not a SATA, so that's going to be fun. And that's about all there really is in here. There is nothing else in here. Cables are nicely tied back, so at least that is something. I'll just see if there's anything else hidden, any special like secret SSD or something, but getting dust in there. That dust has not been cleaned for a while, but I think the next thing we've got, what have we got here? I was just trying to see if there's anything interesting about the motherboard, but not really. Nothing very interesting on the motherboard format. So I think the next thing for us to do is to get this wired up and hooked up to a monitor, and then see if it boots. Okay, ready? Let's power this up and see what happens. That was a noisy hard drive. So we're throwing this through a Dell lovely 4x3 15-inch, trying to do auto adjust, see if it can do it. Now this didn't have any of the old PS2 peripheral connections, so we're actually using just the wireless USB connections. So it's got the HP load up. Now, as it's a hard drive, I'm expecting this to take a little bit of time. It really depends now. I don't know if they factory reset it and just put a basic operating system on there. They may have completely wiped all their hard drives. I honestly have no idea. I believe this was an old one that was used in an old office. But you never know, they may have left something on it, which kind of I always find it quite interesting to see if they've just kind of done a clean wipe or a clean install. It may be a fresh, like they got halfway through the install. It feels like it's gonna be like a Windows install. I feel like I need that elevator music. Okay, well, we've got the Windows screen. Now, did they put please tell me they didn't put a password or something silly on this. This feature requires removable drive such as USB flash. Interesting. So they have put a password on it, which is really annoying. That means it's going to have to be a completely clean install done on this. Wonderful. Just what I wanted to do today. Which it's. I'm just trying to think. Maybe they've just put HP in. Let's try a couple of things. HP. Home. Password 1 2 3 4. Okay, 1 2 3 4 apparently is the password that they used, I believe, unless that's going to kick me out again. Sometimes it does that. It makes you think that you've actually. It's like, yes, I'm going to let you in, and then it just says, "Nah, we were just spending some time, and then we're still going to kick you out again." Now, one of the easiest upgrades, obviously, for doing on any of these sort of systems would be to put an SSD in. Yeah, there we go. Password incorrect. So it's just kicking me out. It's not liking it. So what we're going to have to do, I think, is we're going to have to put a full Windows install on. Which is fine. We'll get a Windows 10 install put on this, and then we will be able to see what sort of spec we're dealing with. Which is a shame, because if it had been an old XP, it would make it a lot easier from a retro game point of view. But you never know. We might be able to do some backward compatibility, etc. But that's the next thing. Let's get Windows 10 put on this and see where we go from there. Okay, so this now been, as you can tell, the blinds are now closed in the room. It's been several hours later. It may take several more minutes, apparently, for this to get to the final Windows 10. So we had the issue of it just would not allow me to set it as a bootable USB. For whatever reason, couldn't access the BIOS. The BIOS was literally just going to give me memory test options and hard drive test, but wouldn't let me select boot options at all for some reason. Don't know why that was configured that way. Maybe there was a security functionality that had been built into this, as it was it was based at an office, so there could have been a very good reason that they'd set this up to not allow other people to boot in any other way rather than just from the hard drive. So I ended up having to. The only way I could get it to do it was by on and off in the computer multiple times until it basically corrupted the hard drive, and it said that I needed to either repair the hard drive or do a clean install. So we went down the clean install route. So we know there's not going to be anything on it, but I still have no idea what spec and what I'm actually getting in here. So we're going to hopefully in a second have this up and running, and then we'll be able to check system info. And then what we'll do is we'll put a couple of bits of software on here so that we can see what we've got, and we'll get Nova Bench on here, which we'll use nice and simple, low intensity benchmarker, and we'll use that for the different PCs, and then we'll see what needs to be upgraded and what we can do with this. But yeah, let's see what happens now. Okay, now first thing I'm going to say is we don't recommend drinking and putting liquid too much with it, but it's an alcohol-free beer, so it's fine. Okay, so let's just get rid of that. It's, as I said, it's a hard drive on here, but not an SSD, so I have no idea what the actual boot time will be. Come on, right. Let's get some idea on system information here. Okay, okay, an AMD A4 5300 APU, okay. It's not fast, it's a single core. That is definitely not going to do much as far as benchmarking anything. We've got 4GB of RAM, which we knew. What storage have we got on here? Let's find out. Okay, so we have a tiny, it's not tiny, but it's tiny for the time, 465 gigabytes, so it's a 500 gigabyte hard drive. which you can get for like a £5, so nothing really in there, but it's going to be suitable for what we need for this, because a lot of the smaller, as far as like retro games, can be able to run from discs, etc. So right, what we now need to do, yes, we'll use Microsoft Edge. I'm not going to worry about installing things like antivirus at this point in time, just mainly because I don't think the system could cope, but we do need to get past all this. Just go, no, don't want to sync, don't want to do anything. Come on. Oh, the difference between SSDs and hard drives, it's absolutely crazy. Right, so let's get Nova Bench installed. Let's get it. Who's that one come from? Okay. So much junkware nowadays. Come on. Right. Nope. Now at present I have no splitter cable for the back of this. I'm still, as it's still early days in the new channel, so I will, unfortunately I can't give you any screen grabs at this point in time, so you just have to rely on what I'm pointing out on the screen. But what I will be doing is hopefully getting some screen capture leads, hopefully at some point tomorrow. So the next video that I do will be able to do that, and that will be even better. But for now, you're just going to have to focus on just what I'm pointing at here. Oh, has it finished downloading yet? Oh, so slow. Come on, give me the confirmation you've done. Yay, right. Let's get you open. So the fact we have no additional software now, it may be trying to do Windows updates in the background for the Nova Bench. So it's the fact like you click on something and it just takes so long for something to open. Aha, right. Shall we start a Nova Bench? Let's do a Nova Bench run. See what we get out of this. And then see what we can do to improve this. Remember, this is a £20 system, so it has only onboard graphics, which means I'm not expecting miracles here. I'm probably, if it even runs it, it should do. I mean, it's onboard graphics 74. I mean, I actually used something similar to that as my first ever graphics card. I'm not expecting the hard drive to be able to do much, but for what it needs, the memory should be okay. But let's see what we get out of this. While it's running, I'm going to have a swig of my drink. I'm not sponsored by any of the drinks, but if the drink company wants to sponsor me, as long as it's alcohol free, I'll take a sponsorship. Well, they say never eat and drink on camera. I don't agree with that. I think eating, yes, eating if you're eating a sandwich or something. All this to fill the time while we're waiting for this to run. I should have brought my stool in with me and I could have sat down while we're doing this. 1 minute. Come on, test number 2. Come on, general purpose tests. Here we go. Okay, we're on to RAM. We're on to the speed test. Here we go. Ramping up. Read write tests, and then it's the graphics test. This is the one that normally crashes when you don't have a dedicated graphics card. Nova Bench, bit funny with that one, but especially the 3D graphics. I have a good feeling about the onboard on this one because it's not that old motherboard. Let's see, it's going to have a really slow frame rate, I think. Oh, so it has loaded. It's got that far anyway. Will it actually get to the... So we're sitting around 6 frames per second for the onboard. Now, onboard graphics are going to be completely fine for like office software, etc. But if you want to play a game, you're really going to struggle. I don't even know if a game's possible to play with onboard. So let's see what the results are. Okay, so we've got a score of 482, which is not good. I mean, to be honest, there's no good scores in here. The disk score is awful, 30. RAM score of 114, not great. CPU score 223, which is surprising. I thought it would be a little bit higher, and the GPU score is higher than I thought it might be at 115. So a 482. Now we're going to find out what it would take to get this to run a bit more reasonable. Now obviously there's a few things we can do here. We can easily put in more RAM, so we can boost that up to maybe 8 gigs, put another 4 gig stick in there, so that keeps the cost down quite minimal. If we swap the CPU, we can have a look against this motherboard and find out what's an upgradable CPU. Maybe we swap that out. GPU, obviously whack a graphics card. That's a really simple, quick win there. And the disk, would it be just simpler to put an SSD in here, like a nice, relatively small, and use, maybe even get like a 500 gigabyte SSD, throw that in here. Would this make this a worthy gaming system? That is the question. So let's see what we can do about that, and that will be on my next video. We'll see what I've done with the upgrades. Thank you very much for watching today. Please do like, share and subscribe, and obviously I'll be working very hard to improve this content over the next time. I'm predominantly a rock and metal channel normally on all my other content, so yeah, going into the tech world is very different. But thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in another video sometime very soon. Take care.